that movie sucked. Love, released in 2015 and is directed by Gaspar, who's also behind such films like I Stand Alone, Irreversible, Climax, Lux Eterna, Vortex, and the reason why I know this director, a film called Enter the Void, which was a trippy 3-hour film of a point of view of someone being shot and is killed, and we see their spirit from their point of view relive their life and figure out what they want to do as a soul, just mindlessly wandering the earth until we figure out he's going to be incarnate again with the woman that he loves. I would rather be watching that movie right now. And this film is starring the most generic, boring, and annoying actors I've ever seen in a movie of Naomi Muick, Carl Glusman, and Clara Kristen. The big marketing ploy behind this movie called Love is that it showcases a bunch of unsimulated sex scenes between lovers who are falling in and out of love and are doing drugs and having three-ways with their American neighbor, but we also see them deal with the ramifications and consequences of having sex and losing. Yeah, so the dude in here God, this movie. This movie's so bad. Let me just state that right now. God. I was trying to be professional, but I couldn't help it but laugh. Okay, so the dude in this movie, who's just an annoying piece of shit, let's put that out there right now. He's an American, and gosh darn it, he knows it, because America has great laws and they're the greatest. But he has this French girlfriend, you see, and they fuck a lot. Because it's what you do when you're in a relationship in the first couple of months and the first couple of years. But then they have an American woman neighbor who comes in and lives across the street, and the two of them were like, gosh, what's your ultimate fantasy? And they're like, I would want to do it with another woman. And he was like, oh, I would love to see that too. So they they invite her in, and all three of them fuck, and it's great. And then when the original French girlfriend is off doing their own thing with drugs and art galleries and ex-boyfriends and stuff, he has sex with the American neighbor, and the condom breaks, and he's like, what? I didn't know! And then she gets knocked up. So, again, I said it before, you had sex and you lost, bruh. And the film opens with, well, first it opens with an unsimulated sex scene. I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing here. But then we cut to a scene of him waking up, and he's not wanting to wake up because the baby's crying, and he just hates his life. And we hear his inner thoughts, and he's like, this fucking sucks. Why won't my baby shut up? Why doesn't she do anything? God, I hate my fucking life. And it goes on for like 10, 15 minutes of his inner thoughts, which we're hearing as an audience, of him just being a fucking tool and a douchebag, but in his head. Then we actually hear him talk to his baby mama and to friends, and we get flashbacks of when he was younger with the French woman and talking to their friends, and he's still a fucking douchebag. There's no redeemable character in here. There is no character that, like, I don't know who you sink your teeth into to get behind and care about, because everyone in here is a piece of shit. The only innocent person, bystander in this movie, is the little kid who we barely see, but unfortunately, again, you're the byproduct of two people fucking and losing. I don't care how many times I've said that already in this review, I'm going to say it another 10 times, because that's what it is. Moving on. Now, I don't blame the actors for it. You could definitely tell they're not the cream of the crop when it comes to acting ability and acting talent, because any sensible actor, when it comes to an actual film, is going to want an intimacy coordinator and not actually perform sexual intercourse with a coworker who you are performing in a scene in. So I'm blaming the director here, Gaspar or Jasper, however you want to pronounce it. Jif, who the fuck cares? But I'm blaming him when it comes to not getting behind these actors and the unsimulated sex scenes and how they're just gratuitous and how they're just thrown in there just because because it's all coming from him. We find out that the dude character in this movie is a film student and wants to shoot films, and films are just his entire life, and we know that because he told us, not from actually watching him shoot something or him like watching a movie and studying it. We just get a random scene at one point of him saying, I want to be a film director. What's your favorite movie? Mine's 2001. Of course. What, you haven't seen that? It's the greatest film of all time. I want to shoot a movie with blood and sperm and semen, because that's the essence of life. When you're in love with someone, that's all you need to be in love, you know? And I am exaggerating it a little bit, but that's actual dialogue that takes place in this movie. So here's what I gather of how this film came about. Jasper, no. He's an out there director. He is an indie film director at the core. When you watch this movie, it's like, oh yeah, this is an independent feature because we just have people saying outlandish, poetic things out of the blue, and you're like, no one talks like that, dude. But Mr. No, let's face it, you also wanted to direct a porno without it having be considered and classified as a porno. That's why you wrote and directed this movie with unsimulated sex scenes. But it's art, you know? It's an actual movie. Therefore, it's not porn. This is just life. This is love. I hate to break it to you, but there are pornos with a better story than this. And yes, sometimes you watch the porno for the story. I found myself asking the question why a lot. Watching this film, I'm unable to speed it up because of the platform I'm watching it on. Like, oh my god, I have to sit through this entire thing of these douchebag characters saying their douchebagish lines to each other, and just feeling the pretension coming from the script, coming from these characters, and coming from the director. I get what you're trying to say, that the essence of love is based on blood and semen and sweat, and just break it down to the minuscule fluids that flow through our veins and flow through our bodies. That is what connects people together, and that's how people love each other. I get all of that. I get what you're trying to say. It doesn't make you any less pretentious than how you're coming across with the end product of this movie. Plus, you also released this... I'm addressing the camera as if I'm talking to the director directly, which, you know what? Maybe he's watching this. I don't know. So, you out there, I'm not talking about you, the audience, who are just watching a review. I'm talking to the director here. Plus, you shot this movie in 3D in some scenes. So we have a hand job happening and an ejaculation, and you see the ejaculation shoot out from the black bars from the widescreen format. Like, how creative. I feel loved right there. Which, I'm not dissing ejaculations. Like, you know, people out there, you want to ejaculate, that's cool. You know, that's great. Good for you. You feel good afterwards. But again, this film just screams pretension. I get a sense of I am holier than thou attitude from the aesthetic, the story that's being presented in here, and from these characters. Every single character in here is a piece of shit. I don't want to watch them. I don't care about any of them. The dialogue between everyone is so forced. And the sex scenes in here, while they're unsimulated, and you should, you know, applaud those actors for being willing to sign a contract stating, yeah, I'll have sex on screen for you, but it's not porn, right? Kudos to them for trying something. But when you break it all down, back to the writer, director, in Gaspar, like, dude, fuck you. You're so pretentious here. I could easily put this in my top 10 worst films I've ever watched. I was hoping for something experimental and something revolutionary, something different. But quite frankly, this is more like a student film who's shooting their first love story movie when they're in high school. Well, let's make it college. Let's make it, you know, people are of the age of consent, and they're trying to say things without actually saying things, and having messages in here that, gosh, if you don't get, then, you know, you're just not that intelligent, and you're not connected with the world, and like how I am, you know? Fuck this movie, and fuck this director, fuck this story. Literally, I guess, that happens here. Just fuck everything. Fuck everything! Just don't have sex and lose, please. I'm gonna give Love half a fucking Blu-ray. No! No! So guys, if you've seen this film called Love, or any other films directed by this director. What did you think about them? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, if you like my taste in movies, then hit the subscribe button to make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Just not this one. Take care, guys.